Hola.
That's our new thing. That's Ayo! We say that all the time.
Happy New Year. It's still the first month of the year, so I think we can say Happy New Year.
Well, not when this podcast is coming.
That's fair.
Is fucking this up already. You can tell we are out of shape. Well, out of practice.
We're in shape.
I'm super in shape.
We're tight.
We're regular Troy Boltons in here.
God, I wish.
I'm Lucas Melby.
I'm Jacob Telejohn.
And this is a whole new pod. The podcast all about Disney Channel original movies and movies that are adjacent to Disney Channel movies or are like kids movies.
And maybe even not. And else, and etc.
Or maybe we'll have to workshop that one.
We'll work on it.
But no, I think that was perfect. That was right on.
On the
money. But
Smooth.
yes, we are back after kind of our longest break, but we did do something. We did a little something between the Naughty Nine and now.
Yeah, I kind of have to remember that this is not only going on our YouTube page, but our feeds, our podcast feeds, which was a visual.
Yes, so if you are an audio listener only, which, I mean, technically, even if you watch our YouTube videos, you really would be, but if you missed out somehow...
You missed our biggest episode ever.
Yeah, so even though we're switching to just monthly uploads, our live stream we did of ranking, tier listing all of the Disney Channel original movies was longer than 2 of our average length episodes.
Yeah.
Close to 3 hours, or maybe a little low energy or dragging things out at the end and at the beginning. But if you haven't watched that, definitely check it out. It is still archived on our YouTube page.
Yeah.
I think the easiest way, it's in the full playlist of all of our episodes, but also there's a tab on YouTube to like go to live and
Yeah. That's I guess how I've felt.
There's something weird about YouTube where you can't just be like, okay, now change the live stream to be just a full video, and I don't want to bother. There would be some stuff I could edit out of it, but then we'd lose the views on it or whatever. But we had some people tune in. Maybe Dustin. Have you heard of Dustin?
Dustinator. Yeah.
But yeah, we had a good time with that. Jacob's like, we should do some more live streams. And I'm like, I don't know what we would do with them.
It'd be tough. I mean, unless we did like a live watch along somehow.
Yeah. I don't know. We could do a live recording maybe, but that might be awkward.
Yeah. I don't know. I thought it was a lot of fun.
Well, I'd be closer to being able to physically throttle Jacob, but
fair.
I wouldn't be able to edit it out either.
No, I was a lot of fun, and thanks to everyone who tuned in and hung out.
And as discussed on the live stream, the episode still probably wouldn't have come out until February, but we were maybe going to do the High School Musical 3 episode earlier, but then I got COVID, so we weren't able to record for a little while, and then we did the live stream, and then I lost my Disney Plus subscription, so I was just like, well, fuck it. We'll just do it some other time. And that's also related to why in the live stream I think I talked about maybe rewatching High School Musical 2 before High School Musical 3. But I didn't because I don't have Disney Plus anymore. And I'm not going to rent 2 movies, or I know how to torrent. I'm not a Zoomer. I know how to torrent. I'm just not going to bother torrenting High School Musical 2. So as I just said, entering phase 2 of our podcast, this isn't like too crazy of a movie for us to cover High School Musical 3. Some people probably would have liked us to have already covered this in line with the other movies, but we're like, no, Disney Channel original movies only. So now into our new phase of non-Disney Channel original movies. The first theatrical DCOM, really. Well, I guess maybe the Lizzie McGuire movie or the Hannah Montana movie.
Oh, yeah. We might have to go do those ones.
Well, I don't know anything about those shows, really. But High School Musical 3, 2008. So the series was the first one in 2006, sequel in 2007. Bam, 2008, big theatrical release.
Yeah.
Modestly budgeted movie because, it was kind of just a souped up TV movie.
Made a lot of money.
Made a lot of money for the budget, especially after 2023. Disney Channel or Disney as a corporation would have been like, we should do more High School Musical 3s or something. Yeah, Jacob, first impressions. How did you feel about High School Musical 3?
You could tell, I think, that some of the dance numbers had a little bit more oomph in them. The basketballs kind of tricked me, those CGI basketballs. I wanted to pull up the exact numbers. It was a $11 million budget, and it made $252.9 million. That is a box office smash.
Mm-hmm. I believe there was something else I saw, like it was the highest or quickest opening for like a musical. I think it made $90 million its first weekend or something like that.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts. $250 million. That's
a couple of times as we were watching this, I ask Jacob mostly to silence, or just to imagine what a theater would have been like with all the teenage girl fans.
I would kind of
imagine. Were they crying at the end? Were they fist pumping at the beginning? Were they doing Taylor Swift era tours, sing-alongs?
That's what I was
going to
say. It was probably some like Taylor Swift eras tour kind of vibes in the theaters. People singing along and dancing. I don't know. They probably maybe dance. I don't know, but definitely singing along to songs, the ones that they knew anyways.
I think this would have been my preferred environment to have watched it. Just my basement.
Yeah, I know. It would have been pretty wild. I mean, that's a lot of tickets. It's a lot of ticket sales.
Well, I guess we'll just get right into it then.
That's fine.
And sorry, did you have something else you wanted to do,
No.
Jacob?
No, I would say that's fine.
So I felt like High School Musical 2 had a really strong start. So High School Musical 2 must have been the end of their junior year. And then it was all summer vacation. So High School
you said all these 3 movies were all filmed back to back years. So it's not like there's 6 years in between them where they're like 23 filming.
Thank you for that insight, Jacob, of reiterating the thing I just said a minute ago.
I was going to say, granted, I don't know how old they were when they made these. I don't know if they were.
I think they were above 18 at least.
Okay.
I don't think they were actual high schoolers.
Yeah.
But this one has a subtitle. So it's High School Musical 3, senior year. But we're also probably picking up midway through senior year because we are opening at the big game, which really isn't the big game of this movie.
I mean, that is true, but they do call it the big game.
Yeah, despite what Sharpay might say later on. But you can't start with the big game. But this is between the Wildcats, which is the East High team, captained by Troy Bolton.
And this is also not only like the big, I mean, it's the biggest of games. It's the championship.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like you were saying, go on. Sorry.
What is going on?
I'm having
are you... He's like scratching his head like a fucking cartoon character. But, oh, no, I don't know anymore. Put your phone away.
It is not out.
So the captains of the team, Troy and Chad. Chad is Corbin Blue, but we're opening on a very sweaty face and sweaty hair of Troy Bolton.
It looks kind of greasy, like a 20 seconds later, it looks, I would say, a little bit different than this kind of close-up view. Really good close-up in his eyes. You're getting some eye action. Like I said, he's soaking wet.
This is right about halftime in the game. They're trailing their rivals, the Knights. The Wildcats
20
are trailing.
points or so.
So then we're getting into halftime intermission in the locker room. Coach Troy's dad, that's his name, Coach Troy's dad.
Yeah.
He was like, rah, rah, we got 16 more minutes. You'll remember this for the rest of your life. You can do this. Captains, and then Troy and
Chad
are like, yeah, we can do it.
Yeah, and they say this we'll remember this next. It was like it was like 18 minutes or something, or 16 minutes. It was like a very small time frame, I thought, for a half of basketball. 8 minutes, I think we figured it was. So I don't know.
That should be how the math works.
Very small periods or quarters. I don't know, but they come out and they're lit.
So this is our first song, Now or Never, which very much still fit within the High School Musical mode, but also reminded me of some of the Zombies movies because so much of the zombie songs are like cheerleader songs. So it starts off with like the marching band they're playing, as well as the cheerleaders cheering. But then we're getting into the actual game, and Troy's singing as he's mostly playing basketball, but there's still some like standout times where he's just like, he shoots and he's just standing there and does like a little choreography. People are yelling, singing from the sidelines. So kind of immediately put into question the great question from the original High School Musical, which Jacob is like, is this a dream? Because
sequence.
We kind of were like, well, when they were singing Get Your Head in the Game, was that them actually doing it, or were they practicing? And in this situation, it implies that they are actually doing all of this.
They're putting points up on the board.
And then it gets weirder once we get to the end of the movie where this song comes back again. But it's very high energy. Lots of people are involved. There's one part where Troy gets fouled. So then he's taking some free throws. And then the crowd all like flips those like signboards.
And then you
like
see
a Wildcat
Gabriella
insignia.
like just in a white dress.
She pops out and she's the only person visible. They spotlight on her. She's singing to Troy. Troy's singing to her. And we're just like, this is happening apparently.
This is High School Musical 3. This is what the people wanted.
And I don't even remember if he made the free throw points. I assume he did because it's the whole second half is just like them sinking points left and right.
Because I don't know how if they only scored like 30 points in the first half, they ended up coming back from a deficit of 20 plus.
But the key is timeout, coach. Put Rocket Man in.
Rocket Man.
Are you sure?
There's only like 10 seconds left or something. There's not that much time left. One play.
And Jacob correctly pegged the character of Rocket Man.
And I said, oh, is this supposed to be like a Troy Bolton lookalike? He's kind of, has like the similar hair. He's going to come in and he's going to make the game-winning shot or, be involved.
Well, you also picked up on that Troy Bolton's number is 14.
And he's 41.
So he's like
little
junior, maybe sophomore, maybe.
He's basically like a Troy in training.
Yeah.
Troy in training. He wants to be everything that Troy is.
And Troy, there's not really even Sharpay, who's kind of like usually supposed to be like the meanest character. Nobody in these movies is ever really that mean, though Troy does kind of some mean stuff later, but it's just played off as fun. So
Rocket Man's pretty annoying in this movie.
I'll give Rocket Man a chance, and then, I'll give him the game-winning score. And
which is like good. Him just, like, he gets past the ball and doesn't know what to do with it. He's, like, kind of, like, stunned for a second, then he just does, like, a easy layup, and they win.
And, I mean, I'm no basketball head, but Troy looks like he's going up for an easy shot, probably, but then just kind of, like, pump fakes and passes it to Rocket Man anyway.
And, like, I don't even feel like Rocket Man gets, like, the, like he's, like, gets his dessert there. Like, I think they're still kind of celebrating Troy after all.
Oh, yeah. Troy is the main character of the school, obviously of the movie, world. But like of everything.
Yeah.
One of my criticisms of this movie is that there's an ensemble of characters. We got, Chad as probably like the third most important character, but then, there's a lot of side characters.
He's not even that important in this movie.
No, it's very heavily Troy and Gabriella.
And
people like Chad, Chad's girlfriend Taylor. It's like not really nothing.
Yeah.
Zeke, we hardly see Zeke.
Rocket Man probably gets more screen time.
Rocket Man does get more screen
than
time
like most people.
And we joked about in High School Musical 2 the character of Jason, who I did look up and was in High School Musical 1, and we just had no memory of him at all. But if you watch like High School Musical 3 and then went back to High School Musical 2, you'd be like, why are they giving so much focus on Jason? And Jason's like not in this movie at all again.
Oh.
There are group numbers, but it doesn't feel like the same like ensemble where in like High School Musical 2, you have like the weird pairing of like, oh, this is a Chad and Ryan song.
Yeah.
You kind of just is like, oh, this is a Troy and Gabriella song. Oh, this is a Troy song. Oh, and now Gabriella's coming in. And then the other ones are like group songs. And some of those start out as Troy and Gabriella songs. And then other people come.
I think we had 3 songs in this movie with Troy and Gabriella, like back to back to back.
I don't think exactly back to back, but at least half of the songs I felt like were Troy and Gabriella songs.
Yeah.
And it also doesn't help that at least 2 of those songs, I think, get reprisals later on in the movie. Yeah. So it just feels like you're hearing some of the same stuff.
A lot of music, a lot of tunes.
So they win the big game. They get a nice trophy.
Yeah.
We go to an after party at Troy's house.
And we see Troy and Chad pushing up Troy's shitty truck.
Because that's the new part of this movie.
It's just shit. It looks like Lucas said, it looked like it was from that scary movie,
Jeepers
Creepers.
Yeah, and it maybe justifies one scene later on in the movie, but mostly it doesn't really matter.
Kenny wanted the junkyard scene. He wanted that. He had an idea.
We'll get to the junkyard.
He had an idea.
We're getting some establishment of Troy and Chad's dads are there, and they're talking about
they're talking to
U of A.
Yeah, one of the basketball coaches for the U of A was there, I guess, at the party, I think.
And the U of A would be the University of Albuquerque, which is the city that the movie's supposed to take place in.
Probably the dad's alma mater.
I don't know if it's a real university because it'd be confusing to call it the University of Albuquerque when it would be, University of New Mexico, Albuquerque. That's usually how it goes.
Yeah.
So that's kind of going to be our main conflict of ending of the school year, ending of high school overall. How are we going to stay connected going forward?
Everybody's here. There's a treehouse that appears like a pirate ship. It's got the Jolly Roger.
It is designed like a pirate ship. You saying it appears like a pirate ship is like it crashes through. Fuck, it's Davy Jones up in this bitch.
That would have been a lot better. I mean, it kind of takes on that kind of role. There's a musical scene we get coming up here shortly. There.
Yeah, so Gabriella and Troy are sitting up in this treehouse singing Right Here, Right Now. My notes is, it's okay. This is our 3rd movie. We've had Gabriella and Troy songs. I think my memories, the ones in the first movie are definitely stronger. Kind of like their first song. But the first song would have been the start of something new, probably.
Yeah.
And then, of course, soaring, flying.
There's not a star in heaven that we can't reach.
We love that one.
I love it.
I don't really remember anything from High School Musical 2 with them.
We're flying.
And then we introduce our favorite character within these movies.
Ooh.
Not within her own movie, though, and that is Sharpay.
Yeah.
Of course, Sharpay's Big Fat Greek Adventure came out in 2011, so 3 years after this movie, but we watched it already.
They tried to capitalize on that. Granted, it wasn't a theatrical release.
No, and it definitely did not deserve
it was pretty bad.
So Sharpay rolls into school, and I don't really remember her being like hot in like I'm not saying anything against Ashley Tisdale, but within the context of the movie, like the boys are like turning left and right. They're
boys with girlfriends are even like,
they're like creaming their jeans, as Sam Blazing might say.
Stickiness everywhere.
And she rolls up to Troy and is like, "Oh, how was the big game?" Or like, "Good luck on the big game." And we're like,
It was yesterday. And they tell her, she's like, "Oh, good luck."
Then she meets up with her exchange student from Britain, who is like her assistant. And I was like, do I really need to know about this character? And this character is really like the only person in the movie that kind of functions as a villain, but really is not villainous.
Yeah, they kind of get it at the end. And she's not, some might even argue she's not even a villain because she takes on, our sour Ashley Tisdale, but
Ashley or Sharpay's like a beloved, frenemy. We love to hate.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know why that character didn't need to be in the movie at all.
No.
Didn't really add anything. I don't know.
But a character who did need to be in the movie, and somebody I guess we probably I personally maybe spoke too soon about favorite characters. Because this is Mrs. Darbus. We check into homeroom with D to the Arbus.
Like you said, on her throne where she rightfully
Which
belongs.
I don't remember if she had that in the other movies or not.
They got the money for it. They got the budget. They got this big movie.
But Mrs. Darbus is like, "All right, everybody, welcome to exposition class." And she just like lets everybody do like she lets Taylor, the black girl, be like, "All right, this is the prom theme. We're announcing the theme as the last waltz." And guess what? Prom, not shown in this movie.
No, kind of, sorta.
No, we don't see prom.
Like in the context of like the play we kind of do.
Yeah.
Like
so we'll get to that.
It's a weird deal.
But it's like, all right, prom's a thing. And you wanted to make an announcement, Kelsey or Sharpay, about the spring musical? Oh, here's the sign-up sheet. Oh, also finals. Remember that? Because this is the senior year. So it's just this scene is like, let's lay out everything that's important in this movie. I was kind of surprised because Kelsey, who was usually like the song girl, the piano player, mostly noticeable for wearing like goofy like cabbie hats. She does still wear some hats in this movie, but is more not in like the worst style of 2006 or 2007.
Yeah,
we saved that for some of Ryan.
Got that glow up.
Ryan, Sharpay's twin,
is still dressing very
not gay.
He's very gay. He's dressing very gay.
I was telling Jacob, it was definitely a bit of a whiplash to go from our two gay dads era of the late Disney Channel original movies, Disney original movies, to this era being like, this character's not gay.
But he's, he dresses the part, but he's got an interest in her.
Kelsey signs all of our characters up for the musical, but they're all like, fuck you, I don't want to do this dumb shit. I gotta like study. And I'm like, what are we doing? Are we doing the whole thing that like people don't like musicals again or whatever? Like that was the whole like first movie.
Yeah.
It's like, is Troy going to be like, no, I'm actually into basketball.
Gotta get ahead in the game.
But then Gabriella's like, let's do it. It'll be fun. And then Troy says, yeah, let's. And then everybody's on board because we all love Troy and Gabriella.
It's true.
And then one final thing to put onto this is Darbus saunters in and sets up a very,
the Juilliard.
I wasn't involved with very competitive post-secondary school applications or anything, but I don't think generally, so Juilliard, very famous acting school, musical school, all of that shebang, art school, arts college, arts university.
Ooh.
And she's like, hey, they are going to potentially accept four of our students, but it's only for one spot. It is Kelsey, Ryan, Sharpay,
and Troy Bolton.
And Troy's like, because Zeke laughs uproariously.
It's a very loud laugh
at Troy. And Troy's like, well, I didn't submit an application. And I thought it was... And then Darvis makes a comment like, they must have sought you out. They saw a tape or something. And I'm like, what?
We later find out, should we say it now?
Sure.
We later find out that Darvis is the one that has submitted an application or whatever for Troy. She tells him that.
Which I think is maybe illegal.
Yeah.
Or at the very least, unethical.
Yeah.
I'm just like, none of this makes sense. This isn't how it works. Colleges don't give schools slots. And spoiler alert, they violate their slots.
They give them multiple
on in the movie. But then I'm just like, but I thought we already established that Troy likes singing. Now why is he going back being like, I don't know about this. I'm going to play basketball at the University of Albuquerque. I'm just like, we gotta get some character development for people somehow by just regressing them again?
Always.
Then Darvis announces this movie is going to be very meta in a way I was not expecting, that, well, the musical will be all about you.
Your senior year?
But you, why, that's me. And yes, it is. All of them are going to be playing themselves, and the play will be about their senior year.
So, and who knows how long, like you were kind of saying, this must have been the last semester of the school year? Or...
Yeah, because at least in our experience, basketball was a winter sport.
Yeah.
So the championship would have been about midway through the year, probably.
So it's that whole semester. I mean, the movie doesn't seem like it's taking 3-4 months, but it is, I guess.
Definitely not.
I don't know. I mean, like you said, it goes from the championship game till graduation day.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it doesn't seem like it's spanning multiple months, I guess.
So Sharpay is obviously very invested in doing very good in this musical because she wants to go to Juilliard, and she's kind of peeved about Troy being up for it, and is what I was kind of suspecting that it would be more interesting is if Troy actually applied himself for Juilliard and then was kind of self-conscious and embarrassed about it.
Lucas suggested it.
But no, it was Darvis. It was Darvis all along.
It's true.
And
we do see him kind of looking at the pamphlet, really kind of reading it. Darvis is trying to get his attention. Troy, and he's
well, and some of that maybe is just the character he's portraying in this movie, because I haven't seen The Iron Claw, so I don't want to speak generally about Zac Efron's acting abilities. But I'd say he's not amazing as the character Troy Bolton.
Ouch.
Troy's kind of a bit of a dumb puppy dog, so some of how he's acting is I can't tell if he's pretending or that's just him being a bad actor in this moment.
Fair enough.
Maybe too harsh. So she thinks Troy's lying and they're maybe going to investigate it or whatever. But then we got to go to my favorite venue for a Sharpay song, going all the way back to Stick to the Status Quo in the first movie.
Because we're fabulous. No.
Is the cafeteria, where that just transitions into being all of these great sets in a Ryan and Sharpay song called I Want It All.
This is probably the best.
I would say so.
The best set. Just everything.
It's the most fun song, and definitely is carried by constant set changes and wardrobe changes that are still, they're being presented in a stagecraft fashion, so it's still as if it feasibly could be happening in the cafeteria.
Would you say this is probably the biggest? I mean, like I said, it's not this isn't a DCOM, but would you say this is the biggest? Teen Beach Movie had some pretty big ones.
I think Teen Beach Movie 2, I think maybe had some
the Hollywood scene was really good, but this is probably one of the better dance scenes.
Definitely one of the more elaborate ones.
Yeah.
It's fun.
A lot of extras.
It's a lot of callbacks to, I think, different eras of musicals and maybe referencing stuff that I just don't have the knowledge. Because Kenny Ortega, he's a pretty old guy. I think he's in his late 70s now at this point.
Old man.
He maybe has some dated taste that he wanted to shout out here.
Yeah.
But this is...
we enjoyed it.
An early high point for the movie.
Definitely.
That I don't think necessarily got matched again.
No.
But it wasn't a great drop-off or anything. Gabriella, where's she going to go to college? Well, it sounds like she might be going to Stanford. But not just going to Stanford. She might be selected for some extra special freshman program.
2 weeks early or something?
No, 3 months early.
3 months early.
Because it's if I'm in the musical, I might not get to be in the musical because I might need to go to Stanford. And I'm what is this program? Yeah, I could see you having summer classes early, but no school, I think, would be you don't actually finish your senior year of high school.
And this
go to college.
It was very odd. This is something that she keeps from Troy. I don't remember exactly how it gets out, but Sharpay some.
No, you're skipping like 30 minutes
way
down the
far
line.
ahead.
She does not tell Troy for quite a while.
Who is she telling at this point? Or just one of her friends?
Taylor.
Okay.
But she hasn't been accepted yet, even. It's just a possibility. And then she goes up to the rooftop with Troy. And
it's a pretty cool greenhouse. Another song, of course.
Yeah, one of their mini couple songs. Can I have this dance?
And it rains on them. Well, maybe it rains, or maybe the sprinklers of the greenhouse go off and they get their wet clothes.
How do we know?
Pretty
and
wet.
then they have to go to class or something.
And they catch hypothermia.
And I thought this was going to be like a lead up where then she's going to tell Troy, and that'll be like their conflict this movie. Because I don't even remember what their conflict was in High School Musical 2. But it's not.
No.
There's not a lot of drama in this movie until there's like some, and it's very like condensed into like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Troy and Chad haze Rocket Man and Dion. So Rocket Man is kind of trying to be the new Troy Bolton.
Yeah.
Dion is a black kid who's, I guess, supposed to be the new Chad. They're like, hey, give us your lockers because we're going to be the new captains. And they're like, okay, but we got your clothes and we're going to run around the school because you're naked.
With your towels around your waist. They go out to the gym, and there's girls volleyball with very tall girls.
At least one tall girl.
Probably
the
like
tall girl?
7 feet tall. Then they run around and they eventually get to
They go through like the auto shop.
Yeah.
And then they get to the stage where Darbus is like, you got detention for running through the school in towels, even though Troy and Chad made you do it. And they don't get detention.
No, it's kind of weird.
I was mad about
the towels. They didn't fall off at any point, and nobody laughed at them.
Rocket Man's was hanging a little low, though.
It was like, yeah.
Maybe seeing a bit of a, what do they call it? A happy trail.
Oh,
is that what they call it? I almost said treasure map, and I'm like, I don't think that's
treasure
right.
map.
But so that was
Happy
kind of like,
trail.
this is kind of a fucked up thing for Troy to do, but it's just all played off like, haha, I'm Troy Bolton.
It's
this
the
is
hazing.
all fun,
it's
right?
the initiation, and
this is literally something that happens in Freaks and Geeks and is treated as like this horrific thing that these bullies do to the nerds.
Oh wow. So because we're gonna give them the locker, and then he says you got to earn it. And I guess they earned it.
I think they got to do a little more.
Ooh.
You're gonna have to do a little better than that, Rocket Man.
Oh my Lord.
Gabriella's trying to tell Troy, like, hey, pursue Juilliard, go do that shit. And he's like, I don't know. I'm all about basketball.
Gotta get you in the game.
Then Chad is like, has to make a big show of asking Taylor to prom, and like the whole school is into it because like they're the main characters of the school.
He goes to ask her, and
too.
she's just kind of blowing him off. I'm like, did I miss something where she's like mad at him? But no, she wanted to make it, make him make it a big deal, all for her. So he gets up on the table and screams it from the top of his lungs.
Really, he should have done a promposal where he did like,
Back to the Future,
Breakfast Club,
Breakfast Club. Yeah, fuck.
And this is a fun transition into the song A Night to Remember, where all the guys are like putting on like their tuxes and trying them on, and then we're seeing like the girls trying on their stuff. I'm like, well, this feels very weird. Like almost there's a song I think in Teen Beach 2, I think, like boys, boys, boys. The girls do, that kind of stuff. But then it's like, well, this feels very much like it's the play. And I'm like, oh, yeah, is this like the meta layer of their senior year play?
It is.
And
it was. You called it. It was.
And this is probably my second favorite part of the movie because there's lots of fun sets that come off on the stage. It's a big group number, lots of people involved, even beyond our main characters.
Is this the one where they're changing their outfits or the dressing room for like prom?
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is like the most prom. This is all the prom we get in the movie.
Yeah.
Even when we see them perform the musical at the end of the movie, we don't get this song to come back. We get other songs to come back.
They're using this play to, like you said, tell the rest of the school year. It's showing us.
So I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And actually, now that I think about it, I compared. It didn't necessarily compare, but just was like, wow, I just watched Euphoria and I'm watching High School Musical. These are very different environments. But Euphoria also ends off its second season with this big, beyond reasonable budget levels for a high school play production. That's like retelling stuff from the characters' lives. So Euphoria, I do think is kind of just ripping off High School Musical.
Oh my. That's interesting.
But I did kind of like this meta layer of these weird transitions about what is in this musical where we're not always sure when people are actually singing or not.
Yeah.
And then they just are singing.
When are the dream sequences? That's what I want to know, Kenny.
Mm-hmm.
Spell it out for me.
We get this whole subplot with Rocket Man being put in to be Troy's understudy.
And then the other girl we haven't really talked about at
The
all.
British assistant of Sharpay is Sharpay's understudy.
Yes.
And then there's a bit of like sexual tension.
And the understudy means that they just fill in for the roles if the main people
If you're listening to a High School Musical episode, I don't think I need to explain to you what a fucking understudy is.
Fair enough, fine.
So then, it's like, wait, is like Rocket Man and this British girl gonna hook up?
Have a
but
thing?
No, that doesn't happen.
A little flirty.
Which is okay, because I hate Rocket Man.
Both of them are not necessary.
I remember I think like a month
I do like the Rocket Man movie, though. I'll tell you that.
I haven't watched that yet.
You probably would.
But when I was just like reading through like trivia about this movie, and I'm like, Rocket Man? There's a character named Rocket Man.
Yeah, I don't know. We don't know where he gets his nickname from. I kind of assumed when he was going to go in at the very beginning of the movie, he was going to be like really fast. They passing the ball. I mean, he's really quick and scores. But yeah, I don't know where the nickname comes from.
Unclear. Then we have another unlikely pairing between Kelsey, the piano girl, composer of musical stuff for this, and then Ryan, who is definitely not gay.
He's not gay.
He's the choreographer for the musical, so they're collaborating on this song.
They're drinking tea.
Just Want to Be With You. But then this expands out to being a group song. But then this is a weird one where there's a set where Gabriella's up on a balcony and she's singing, and like Troy's coming up from the audience and he's singing, but like all around them they're like still assembling the sets. So we're like, is that a song in like the High School Musical movie sense, or is this a song in the stage musical sense?
It was in the stage musical sense because we see it later on.
And I was like, wait, well, Troy's coming through the audience, so this just has to be like them just
I thought
doing a movie song, but it's like, no, this exact same thing happens. It's just without like everybody being in the background.
And
so that was weird.
I liked it. It was fun. It's fun when it happens, I guess, in the actual play.
And I talked about the Ryan and Sharpay song being the peak earlier.
Yeah.
The next scene, it's not a peak necessarily. It's just the most what the fuck moment in
awesome.
all of the High School Musical movies.
This whole scene kind of seems like it's separate from the movie. It just seems like Kenny had a weird idea and just wanted to do it.
Well, I mean, as we said, this is why Troy has a junkie truck, because they go to the junkyard to scavenge for parts to fix his truck.
Yeah.
Troy is wearing a bandana sweatband.
Yeah, it was kind of a weird look. I don't think I've ever seen him with a bandana on his head before, but he's got one, and he's got a red hanky in his back pocket.
And he's there with Chad, and it's the kind of premise of the scene is that they are talking to each other about like, oh, I can't wait to go to college. And Troy's got to be like, I don't know. Hey, remember when we were kids and I guess we played in the junkyard and pretended to be superheroes and stuff?
Yeah.
And Chad's like, yeah, we were fucking kids back then. I'm done with that dumb shit. And Troy's like, well, what if we sang about it?
Oh, so they do. They talk about, I guess, the adventures they used to have and I guess what they would see. And
the song is called The Boys Are Back.
Yeah.
And it has like very like butt rocky like guitar riffs where the start of it almost sounds like a Linkin Park song.
Yeah, so it's not just them all the time. And there's like other like junkyard boys that show up and they're dancing with them and singing with them.
For them, for a while, it's just like they're hopping around and it's very kind of Footloose, the Kevin Bacon song where he goes to like the warehouse and is just jamming out.
Then
kind of has that vibes. And then Mad Max characters pop up.
And then they go through some kind of fucking time portal.
By going underneath the truck, they slide down and then we see them as children.
They're kids. They're little children, but they're singing with their same voices.
Yeah, they're adult voices or whatever.
Yeah, it only lasts about 20 seconds.
And we don't see a transition of them not being kids.
No.
They just cut and they are moving and it's like, oh, they're just back now.
It caught Lucas and I off guard.
People are like rolling around.
I feel like I said something, didn't I, about them being kids? Like, what if they just... I don't know. Maybe.
Well, I mean, the whole thing is like they're putting on like capes and they're like sword fighting. Yeah, and
they're acting like they were.
So you were saying like this is like how they used to play, and I'm like, yes. Yeah. You did not call that they were going to transform into children.
That caught us.
I'm not going to let you get away with that.
That's fair. I don't want to claim that.
But like the Mad Max characters, they're like rolling tires. They're rolling on tires.
They're doing weird.
And then the song ends and they disappear. So they were
not there. Dream sequence. So, yeah.
But then there's still one tire sitting.
It was there. So who knows? Maybe it happened and they just disappeared into the night. It was only like 20 seconds, maybe even like 10.
Yeah,
It was
they were
weird.
kids for a very short period of time.
Needed it longer.
And I don't even know
15.
if like the Chad kid had like a real afro. It felt like
Probably
it looked
not.
like it was kind of fake or something.
It was weird. You know, I don't know if I enjoyed the song necessarily, but it was a
No,
fun
It
scene.
was insane, but not a song I'm like jamming out to.
No, the boys.
Yeah, the boys
We're
are
back in
back.
town.
The boys are back.
Boys
The
are
boy.
back
That
in
was a
town.
lot of what the song was.
Yeah.
It was a part where I had the most undivided attention because I didn't want to look down to take notes in case I missed anything.
Well,
And
except,
I could have easily missed them turning into children.
is this like the only Chad song we get in this movie?
Well, he's in the other group songs. You know,
Yeah.
he maybe had some stuff in like the first song at the basketball game.
Fair.
But yeah, no get your head in the game moments for him or
No.
whatever. So now Gabriella is talking to Taylor. She's thinking about maybe like going to University of Albuquerque, maybe even for just like a year, get her generals done so she can hang around with everybody longer.
Yeah, and she's trying to get her mom to stay in Albuquerque another year, or just yeah. Because
Mhm.
I don't know why her mom's always moving around all the time, or needs to get out of there so quick. We were kind
Well,
of
she's gonna probably move to California so she can be closer to her
With her
daughter,
daughter.
because we're pretty sure
Doesn't
Gabriella
have a
only has a
dad?
mom.
yeah. Papa's
So,
gone.
Yeah.
Dad. I don't know.
So then we get another Troy and Gabriella song. This is a reprise of Right Here, Right Now, where
This
they
is-
are split screened.
It was cool.
Troy in his treehouse, Gabriella on his balcony, and you said you didn't like it.
I thought it looked goofy. I
Well,
thought
you can't say it was goofy and that it was cool.
I liked it, but it was goofy. I
I
don't
was
know.
trying to
It was
appeal
like-
to the High School Musical stands.
Well, I changed my opinion, like because it's they were like, I don't know, the way they had them separated, and then they like cross faded them so they're on top of each other, so it looked like they were actually like looking in each other's eyes, and I'm like, I don't know. It
Jacob's like, I need more logic and reality in my High School Musical.
it was okay. I'm with Lucas there in the end.
So then Troy finally hears about Gabriella going to Stanford,
Yeah,
but
he's
it's
caught
from
off guard
Sharpay.
because she finds something on the computer.
Well,
about
her
it.
British
Oh,
understudy
yes. It was
tells
really-
her because she wants Sharpay to take her part or Gabriella's part so that the understudy can then have Sharpay's part in the play, which I
Yes.
wasn't clear on because I was like, wait, who is she as
so
the
that
understudy
Sharpay
of?
can be closer to Troy.
Presumably, Troy and Gabriella are the main characters of the play
Yeah.
because they're the main characters of the movie. So generally, there's
Series.
not an understudy for... Understudies would first go to the main characters. So I was like, wait, is the British girl Gabriella's understudy? But no, she was Sharpay's understudy.
And you know, Sharpay's so
this is-
smart
this is
that
the
she has
peak.
all of Gabriella's stuff memorized. You know, she's got everybody's stuff memorized.
And this is the peak of the villainy of this movie.
Yeah.
Is this from this British girl? But Troy's cool with it. So I thought this was going to be the conflict point of the movie. But Troy's just like, hey, I brought pizza, chocolate covered strawberries. Let's talk about you going to Stanford or whatever. And then this ends with, I guess, Troy maybe being a little sad. And Gabriella has a song, Walk Away, which is kind of R&B style. And she's singing it in her house. She's singing Just Walk Away.
Yeah.
As Troy can't start his truck and he has to literally walk away.
Walk away.
Everything in her house is disappearing around her as she's singing this. And that's because her mom is packing up because
Getting ready to
either
move.
the house will be sold or is already sold. And I'm like, she was going to try to get her mom to stay for another year. But now this is like a week from then. And that she's
told. They
gonna
have no
go.
other option.
So yeah, at this point, she's been accepted into the early fellowship program or whatever.
I mean, she's
So now she's
basically
leaving.
off.
So she's not going to be
gone.
there for prom. She's not going to be there for the musical. She's not
No.
going to be there for commencement.
Might not ever come back.
And the mom, is just also moved out. I'm like, wow, things move fast. So that means Sharpay is going to be filling in for her role in the musical. So then the understudy fills in for Sharpay, yada, yada, yada. Troy has a bit of tension with his dad where they're shooting hoops late at night. And his dad's like, I found this, and it's the Juilliard pamphlet. And he's like, I thought you were going to go to U of A. That's what you've always thought since you were a kid. And now this is where Troy's like, yeah, and I was a kid back then playing in the junkyard, and I don't do that anymore.
So we had in one of the other first or second, probably the first movie, like where the dad's like not very understanding of Troy and his,
it's very much the
love,
first movie.
and his love for theater.
Yeah, it's like, we
Yeah.
sorted this out.
And the
He's
dad
like,
was cool.
I'm
with
okay
it.
with you being in them gay-ass fucking plays as long as you're still going to the
When it
University
comes
of
to
Albuquerque.
life, you better choose right.
So then
Ball
Troy
is life.
has a second kind of Kevin Bacon Footloose thing where he breaks into the school, or he just has a key. I don't know. He puts on his jersey and he's going around. There's lightning outside, and this song is called Scream. There's CGI basketballs flying around him.
Yeah, that was pretty wild, I thought. And there's a lot of lightning. It wasn't just like, it was like a lightning storm. It was like constant. He's very intense. He's performing.
One of the school hallways.
Yeah, in his basketball jersey. I thought
he's
that was
walking
cool.
around on the ceiling and everything.
Oh, yeah, like you said, rotating hallway. And he's like, I don't know, he does it really good. I don't know if it was like a stunt double or what, because there's like parts where he's like sliding down the entire wall and it looks like he's going to hit his head, but he like puts his hands out and does like a somersault and stuff.
It's all choreographed. I mean,
it was good.
He does his own dancing. He can freaking slide down a wall.
That was cool. But somebody's watching all of this happen.
Well, I just wanted to say I like this song.
Oh, okay.
I thought it was a good song. It's in the same vein as the song in High School Musical 2 where he slaps the water.
Oh, you like the water slap?
But I think the song's better.
You asked for more puddle slapping later on in the movie. You mentioned something. You wanted the water
from
slap.
Descendants too.
Yeah,
but yes, Darbus is always in this school. We actually always see Darbus
it's like
in this
late.
school.
It's not even like 7 or 8. It's like 11 midnight. It's like really late at night.
So she saw his whole musical tantrum, and she's just like, I don't even really know what she said. She's just like,
this is where I think she
that. I think she probably like put some of that passion into it.
She tells him this is where I signed up for Juilliard.
Yeah. That's the point of this.
Yeah. So he's like, yeah, that right there. Harness that. Release it. Own it.
So Gabriella's absence is the musical because rehearsals aren't going that well.
Yeah. There's a point where they finally find out that she's not going to be there, and then people.
Yeah, she calls Troy, and she's just like, I can't handle goodbyes.
It's like, what do you mean?
And then he gets off the phone, and he's like, she ain't coming back. And Chad's like, well, that's lousy. Oh, shucks, I'm sorry. Well, we're gonna go play basketball together. And so yeah, the premise.
Gotta get our heads in the game.
So prom is going to be 2 days before the musical.
Yeah.
So then what happens is Troy just drives to Stanford.
He takes his shit truck over 1,000 miles. Which is, we figured, Lucas, 15.
Well, the movie told us it was 1,000 miles.
Yeah.
And Jacob's like, that would be 100 hours.
I thought it'd be like 20
He's
hours.
time traveling. I'm like, Jacob, you don't drive. You don't get to estimate
I was like,
time
it'd be like 20 hours.
That would be 300 days.
In his shit truck. His truck is falling apart every other day, Lucas. I don't know if his 10-year-old
his truck. That's why it's like the truck is that way so they could have the junkyard scene.
Yeah.
It did not matter that his truck would not have actually been able to make it that far.
We've seen it though. We see his shit truck, or she sees the shit truck, and he's up in a tree.
Yeah, she sees it and goes, "Jeepers creepers, where'd you get them peepers?"
Look at those eyes. He's up in the tree and is in his tux, which we do find out it's a tux because the bag says it's a tux.
And I think they dance then at Stanford.
Yes, and
because
this is where we see the prom
night.
scene. We see people around them from their school dancing like it was prom.
Oh, well, it's because it was prom at that time.
But they're not there.
I thought they were going to get back in time for prom.
They don't.
But that's like the one thing.
Remember, they got like a hour-day drive to get back.
Yeah.
So Troy later calls and says, "Oh, we won't get back by the first."
Well, it's like
part of the play.
Yeah, because prom was 2 days before the play.
Yeah.
So then it's the night of the play. Because, as Jacob said, 3 months or whatever just flies by.
Yeah.
So it's the night of the play, and he texts Rocket Man, "Hey, I don't think I'll be there for Act 1."
You better step up, boy.
And Rocket Man freezes.
He panics. Not everybody panics.
And Sharpay does not like his cologne.
No, it makes her vomit, puke. But they're on their way back, so we assume Troy and Gabriella are on their way back at this point.
While they were dancing at Stanford, we got a reprise of "Can I Have This Dance?" Mm. So it was another one where it's just like, did we hear this song already? It's just so much Troy and Gabriella.
A lot of those too, which is what the people want,
So then it's time for the musical, which is kind of a medley of songs that on the soundtrack is titled Senior Year Spring Musical.
Ooh.
Which also might just be the title of this play, because leave it up to the series High School Musical to have weird titles for their in-universe stuff. So we start off then with like Now or Never, which was the song from the beginning of this movie.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, they were singing this. We kind of set up that they had to have been singing or doing some of this during their game, but now they've like morphed it into a song in this musical.
Flawless.
We get Sharpay and Ryan's song with the same kind of musicals and choreography setup, but now Ryan is doing it by himself without Sharpay or Sharpay's understudy, which was kind of weird.
A lot of on-the-fly stuff. I mean, people.
There
aren't
are
gonna be
scouts
there.
from Juilliard in the crowd.
Yeah, a couple of them they're watching.
They go, "Ooh, that's the choreographer."
Sharpay's and Ryan's parents are there. The mother has something on her forehead.
Who fucking cares?
Troy's parents are there with the basketball coach from U of A or whatever it was.
Chad's parents are there.
Yeah, everybody. This is a big deal. This is the big game of this movie.
It is. So the song from earlier, which was "The Boys Are Back." No, it was not "The Boys Are Back." I'm just kidding. What was it? "Can I Have This Dance?" Maybe? I don't know. No, it was "A Night to Remember." No, "Just Want to Be With You." There's too many fucking songs to this. So I think it was "Just Want to Be With You," which was a Troy and Gabriella song that we thought was just a song that was them. It was setting up them working on the musical, but no, it was a song within the musical.
Yeah.
But then we got thrown off again because I'm like, wait, we've heard the song, but then it's Ashley Tisdale singing it here and not Vanessa Hudgens because it's Sharpay filling up in for the role of Gabriella. And then it's the cue for Rocket Man to come in.
And he does not come in. So we see Sharpay repeating whatever line it was like over and over and over. And eventually Rocket Man comes out, but he's goofy.
He looks like he's dressed like a pimp.
It's very odd.
And then his clone's like making Sharpay sneeze.
And she like leaves this set, right?
And now like everybody in the school is like cheering because they hate Sharpay, even though like at least half the school population like had boners for her earlier in the movie. And then like
odd.
Rocket Man just starts going like, "Hey, yeah, what's up, everybody? Whoa, that was awesome." And everybody's like, "Yeah, we love Rocket Man."
He's getting like a
"No."
standing ovation. It was very odd.
I'm like, I don't want Sharpay to go out like this. Have Rocket Man go out like that. If Sharpay was able to go out on top in this movie, we wouldn't have gotten Sharpay's Fabulous Adventure.
That's
and
fair.
we'd all be better for it.
Accurate statement.
And
and then immediately when they finish, when Rocket Man's out there, Troy and Gabriella show up, and
then they're
Sharpay's
like into it. They're like, "Fucking Rocket Man."
And Sharpay's obviously pissed because had he been there 5 minutes sooner, all this would have been avoided.
But then Troy and Gabriella do the song.
Yeah, they do
the song that we just heard, but then they do it.
Because Troy, and they're both in their street clothes. They're not even in
they're
outfits.
playing themselves in the movie. What outfit do
Troy
they really
comes
need?
out of the stands, which is what we saw earlier in the movie. So he comes out of the crowd.
Yeah. So then I'm like, what?
He climbs the treehouse or whatever.
And just like in earlier in the movie, it becomes a group number after that, and then everybody else joins them.
They're all in this together, man.
Meanwhile, in the background, the understudies dressed to be Sharpay and Sharpay's number.
And like this is where she's kind of where she's like mean, or I guess, I don't know, like kind of a bully towards Sharpay. She's like, I don't know, she turns off Sharpay's light in her dressing room. Sharpay's all sad because she just, her scene just got fucked up. And
and then the understudies playing Sharpay. But then Sharpay rolls up and is like, "Nah, bitch." And then they're just like singing the song together.
They waltz together, I think.
And then Ryan like puts them down into like a trap door or lowering level.
Some goofy,
but that maybe was planned for the choreography anyways.
Probably.
I don't know. Just be nice to Sharpay. She's not even really that bad in this movie.
No.
And then the musical ends with a fake commencement ceremony where Darbus comes out and just like does like the end of Animal House or whatever. She's like, "Taylor's gonna go to Yale. She's pre-law or whatever, or political science, I think." Martha, remember her? She was in this. That's how it reads. Is like, Jason, Jason, you did graduate just barely. I'm like, Jason just barely was in this movie.
They're just giving props to people that really
Zeke is going to the cordon bleu.
Made this series what it is. So we do find out there is a second person accepted into Juilliard.
The Juilliard Scouts apparently have given like the paperwork to Darbus to be like, Kelsey has been accepted to Juilliard, and they made a special exception to their weird rule
Ryan
to also accept Ryan.
And those two are in love with each other apparently, so they get.
But we still need to hear what has Troy decided. It's like, is this scripted? And then Troy's just like, I've chosen basketball, but I've also chosen theater.
So I got to go to Berkeley.
So yes,
holla.
An option that we didn't know about.
And we don't see the dad's reaction. I was kind of curious to see the dad's reaction, like because the coach from the U of A was there. I wanted to see that reaction. I didn't get to see it.
So he is going to Berkeley because it is 32.6 miles from Stanford.
32.7, I think, or 34.7, I think it was, from Gabriella's place. And he introduces Gabriella, Gabriella pre-law, da-da-da-da.
So Troy and Gabriella, they just get everything.
Chad, and then he's not there. He's gone.
And me and Jacob were like, where did he go? neither of us was paying attention right now.
Yeah, I don't remember if he was out there to begin with or when he left.
So Chad runs off because Troy did not put bros before hoes, so he's going to need to go to U of A by himself.
Yeah,
how sad. Chad's like, are we in like the same basketball division?
Yes.
And Troy's like, haha, yeah, bro.
I'm going to slap
Kick your ass.
So yeah, they're in the gym shooting hoops.
Conflict solved.
Yeah, it was. The dad comes in and says, right? Dad comes in there and says, boys, you got to get your ass in there or whatever.
Yeah, he's like, get back on the stage. I didn't think my gay-hating father would ever say that. So everybody's happy. All conflict is resolved.
Yeah.
And then we cut to
the actual
commencement.
Yes,
where
outside.
Troy, main character of the school, is giving the commencement address.
That's right.
He ends it being like, in a way, we're kind of all in this together. And that was already being sung in the background. I kind of would have liked if they did just go out on that because it's a banger.
Yeah.
But they go out on a very meta final note.
High School Musical.
Their final song is called High School Musical. And it's talking about like we had this bond because we were in High School Musical together. Out on like the field where they walked. Then there's like in the bleachers.
Some fun choreography where they make shapes and letters because they're wearing red and white gowns.
With the Wildcat logo.
Yeah.
It's fine. We've had so many Disney musicals at this point.
It's for the fans. It's for the people. This is what they wanted.
Yeah.
That meta High School Musical.
Well, the definite like very end is for the fans because and it is admittedly kind of a cool thing where the main crew is walking off of the field and then there's a curtain that drops behind them and now they're on a stage and the title High School Musical comes down in big lights behind them, much like the title or the original like poster or cover for High School Musical, which then they recreate by all jumping in the air into a freeze frame.
And I would assume probably in the exact same spots they are in the first
But they're in
one.
robes in this, so it's not exactly the same.
Simple.
And Jacob's just like, what? And I'm like, Jacob, this is a reference.
Oh my God.
You love references.
Oh.
And then they do like close-ups on all of the actors as they're
Like
staring into the
weird-
audience and, some like tearing up a bit.
Like they just finished either like a musical or, people I couldn't even imagine being in the movie theaters, just people just applauding.
People would have been crying, I'm sure.
Crying, like standing up. Standing ovations, I would imagine, because like it is, it's like they're looking out, like they just finished a musical or like a play.
People it's like in the end of Evangelion,
it was great,
where it just all of a sudden cuts to a live theater, as if you are in the movie, and then there's one guy in the crowd being like, "Yo, yo, yo," and he's waving his hand around. They should have done that in High School Musical.
Should have, would have, could.
And then that's the end of the movie,
and the bloopers,
and then there's a credit song by a guy who won like a contest to be in the movie and I think is like an extra in some scenes, but then he gets like the credit song. I'm like, that is not canon. This does not count. His name's like Stan Czechoslovakia or something like that. So that was High School Musical 3. Jacob's looking up his name.
Stan Karazasa.
Yeah. See, if you just left it at Stan Czechoslovakia, it would be fine. It'd be funny and, it'd be good. High School Musical 3, again, I did not rewatch High School Musical 2.
Whoa, I looked up Stan Karazasa. He's a real musical artist.
Well, yeah, he sang a song in High School Musical.
And in Pitch Perfect. The Adventures of Long Black and Fast Eddie.
All right, Jacob, put your phone down. We don't give a fuck about Stan.
The
only Stan I care about is the Eminem song.
Ooh.
But High School Musical, I didn't rewatch any of them.
Son.
I still feel like High School Musical 1 I prefer over this movie.
Yeah.
But I like this more than High School Musical 2. I liked that they finally had an actual fucking musical in the series High School Musical.
Yeah.
And appreciated some of the meta stuff. But I think it just was too focused on Troy and Gabriella.
I would agree.
And I just don't really care that much about them.
They're
obviously very well established, and their conflict in this was like very minor, which is like fine.
Correct.
We talked about in this High School Musical too, I think, of like, what do you do after you already set up the main couple in the first movie? Well, you got to force some conflict with them in the sequel. And this is kind of just, well, they mostly just have fun in this movie, but I would have preferred if it's like having fun and the other characters are more involved.
Yeah.
But I don't know, maybe, Vanessa Hudgens and Zac Efron probably had heftier like price tags for them to be in this movie. So maybe that's why they're like, well, if we're paying so much for them, let's get our money's worth out of them. But still a fun time.
Fun. I had fun. You had fun. We all had fun.
2.5 stars.
One of our longest movies we've ever watched.
I mean, yeah, High School Musical 2, I think, is maybe like 10 minutes shorter. So.
Oh, wow.
Just in a while.
Yeah.
Quite a fair bit longer than Slumber Party or The Naughty Nine, that's for sure.
Or Tangled.
But we don't need to talk about those because this wasn't a Disney Channel original movie. It's not going to be in my personal list.
Sad.
I don't need to think about that.
I mean,
anymore.
you still might see his review out there. He might have still reviewed it on Letterboxd.
You just listened to my review.
Wow.
For,
he said
50 minutes or whatever.
2.5 stars?
Yeah, I think that's where it'll land.
Yeah, that's solid.
So that was High School Musical 3, our first non-DCOM.
Yeah.
Even if it doesn't quite feel like it. Did you have any? Sorry, I kind of forgot about you. That's what I thought.
Nothing worthy of input. Like you said, I think we already talked about it, but the ones
we did kind of talk about it.
We
High
talked
School
about the whole
Musical
movie.
3.
The one dance scene I thought was, like I said, outside of the promposal one, was probably the best dance scene we'd seen. I don't know. It was. You could tell there was money into the scene. I'm tired.
You're talking
I'm
so
fucking
vaguely.
tired.
Oh, that one dance scene.
I can't even think of the song.
Yes, that really narrows it down in
in the cafeteria with all the stuff.
Well, that wasn't related to the promposal.
No, I was just saying, like, in terms of like a dance scene, like a big scene.
I'm gonna make a big scene.
Dude, I'm tired.
Well, in the interest of Jacob being tired, I will say,
let's get lit.
We're not going to. We can maybe float the idea in this episode, maybe a controversial take, but I think it is time to retire Never Remember. We've done over 100 movies talking about whether the main characters
I think
stop
that's okay.
9/11.
Maybe it'll appear every once in a while, but I don't think it needs to be for an every movie kind of thing.
If it's fun to talk about whether like Tall Girl could have stopped 9/11.
Yeah, exactly. She would have caught the planes.
But
played with
now,
them like King Kong.
I'll put the ball in Jacob's court. He can come up with a new bit.
Think about it.
Yeah. Yeah, you will. He thought about it, and that will be the final thought that he's thought about.
That's it.
But a segment that we will continue, and we actually did have at the beginning of our live stream.
Well, I thought about one already. How long does Troy and Gabriella's relationship last?
Well, that can't be a recurring segment.
Well, I mean, just for this movie. It's the bit for the movie.
I mean, I don't even think they probably graduate college and are still together.
Ooh, that's tough.
Troy's a dumb idiot, and Gabriella's going to pre-law or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, they're only 37.4 miles away.
I should say they're only 37 years old. What do you think? Do you think they're still together?
I think the love is there. I believe
You're
it.
such a romantic.
I believe in him. I believe in them.
He believes in the power of love.
It's true. It's a good song.
Well, since Jacob is so sleepy.
I'm a tired
so little. He's just a little sleepy baby. I'll fast forward past something else that we can return to in a future episode. I was all ready to make this a super long episode, but now Jacob's like, eh.
No, we can do it. Let's do it.
No, it's fine. It'll be better if you're high energy. So we will roll into a segment.
This will wake me up, baby.
As I was just talking about, we had a whole new pop on our live stream. So if you want to check in about what we thought of Pepsi Nitro or Nitro Pepsi.
I believe there's a vanilla version of that I want to find. I think it would be
Jacob,
good.
You have to go to the grocery store.
I know.
So I found that to just be wow, this is a flatter Pepsi, and Pepsi already tastes flat.
Like you, I think you maybe thought it was expired or maybe old or whatever.
No, it's supposed to be smooth.
Yes,
Jacob, we're not reviewing Nitro Pepsi.
It. No, we have a new one.
We have an even less exciting one. So we talked about a couple of episodes, Starry.
Yeah,
that's what we got here. Over the holidays, my aunt had some cans of Starry, and I almost stole one, but I'm just what the fuck am I doing? So at work, I had to walk around to a few vending machines to finally find one that had Starry. So Starry is the Pepsi Corporation's replacement as a lemon lime soda for Sierra Mist. Yeah. And when I told Jacob that, because this is one where, weirdly enough, I think I'd gotten podcast ads where they're Starry on ice. That shit just hits different. I'm who are you trying to fool?
We don't have ice though today. No
Jacob's ice. Why did they get rid of Sierra Mist? And I'm Sierra Mist was a horrible soda.
So, but
I have a distinctive memory from high school. Well, I know I haven't ever drank Starry, Jacob. That's the whole premise of this.
Do you remember what Sierra Mist tasted like?
Bad.
Okay.
but not as bad as Sierra Mist Natural. So there was one time when I was at our mutual friend Devin's house, and I had a Sierra Mist Natural that literally, I think it took me 3 hours to drink because it felt like I was drinking Pine Sol or something. It was just not enjoyable at all. So this is non-caffeinated, but it's still got sugar, so it's not like the zero sugar version. So we'll crack this open and probably give a very yep, that's a lemon lime flavored soda take.
I'm about to slurp the shit out of this. I'm getting up out of my chair. Look at that. Look at that head.
More head than fucking Nitro Pepsi. Yeah, more carbonation than Nitro Pepsi too, that's for sure.
All right. Are you ready?
Yep.
Bottoms up. That's kind of smooth too.
Yeah. I mean, it's a lemon lime soda. Not a whole lot to write about. I'd say it's like maybe a more limey Sprite.
Smells like. Got a smell to it.
Jacob make me catch in my throat. Our finest critic of movies and food. Got a smell to it. This movie had a look to it. There was an actor or two in it.
Oh, God.
Sprite is something that I like every once in a while. I'm like, man, Sprite's pretty fucking good. But I mostly only drink it when I'm sick or there's punch that, you use Sprite and punch and you just have leftover Sprite or something.
Starry is not bad. It's not something I would go out of my way to get again, but it's not.
Well, we've already established, Jacob, that you're like, I want this Pepsi, but I can't go to this store.
I gotta find the vanilla flavor. So
yeah, well, it was right next to the normal one when I was there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, not bad, Starry. What are your thoughts on it? Do you like it?
I've been saying,
huh?
I've been talking. Jacob,
I was talking to the fans, the listeners.
Shut the fuck up.
I was asking the people if they like the Starry.
This will be the one time we actually get email. Everybody's like, I love Starry so much.
Leave a comment if you love Starry, if you're gonna try it out now.
This is a PepsiCo psyop on me. That's kind of how I felt with some of the Starry stuff. Is this actually different than Sierra Mist? I don't know. It's not around anymore.
It's the same flavor.
It feels like a sweeter Sprite with maybe a little more lime focus in it or whatever. The Sprite, I think, being a Coca-Cola company soda, also has maybe a little harsher carbonation, which I am generally a fan of.
Starry. I don't know what that means.
Are you okay?
I don't think so.
Did you hit your head dancing along to High School Musical 3? All right, somebody's got to write this ship. I think Jacob is definitely not in the capacity to shout out where to find us. But if you want to write in about how much you love Starry, that is a whole new pod at gmail.com. Find us on various podcast platforms of your choice: Apple, Google, Spotify. Rate and review us where you can. 5 stars, ideally. Find us on YouTube, youtube.com/a whole new pod, where very, blow big numbers. We finally hit 500 subscribers.
We passed 500. That's awesome.
Which I will only say that around Christmas time, my cousin, well, technically my second cousin, so it's the son of my cousin,
son of a bitch,
who is actually he's 9 or 10 years younger than my mom. So he's a very older cousin, and he was a jerk and a bully, and I'm sure he doesn't listen to this. And his son is extremely annoying. But he was going around at Christmas and demanding that everybody subscribe to his YouTube channel. And at that time, he had fewer subscribers than us. Now he has 300 more than us. And it's well, I guess we should do Minecraft streams or whatever.
My goodness.
But every once in a while, I'll pop up one of his videos because he doesn't spam a lot. A lot of them are short, so those don't go in the main feed. Yeah. I'll thumbs them down.
Oh my God.
Well, a lot of them, maybe it's just because I'm not a Zoomer, or I guess he's probably Gen Alpha or whatever, but I'm just this shit don't make sense. It's just he does Diamond plus Mr. Beast, and it's just a weird song underneath it, and it's just an image of a diamond in Minecraft, and then an image of Mr. Beast, and it's all right, this is what the youth crave.
Odd.
So youtube.com/a whole new pod. Tell your friends so that I can beat this shit out of my second cousin, who I see maybe 2 times a year. But I did not subscribe from him. We gotta, game recognized game, know what the competition's all about.
Yeah.
Otherwise, then, twitter.com, I don't know.
X.
Slash AWN pod, run by Dustin, who Jacob was amazed to hear that like Dustin tweeted out the announcement about our live stream, as well as us hitting 500 subscribers. I told Dustin about neither of these things.
I didn't even see that yet.
I posted about, I did a YouTube post.
Our number one fan.
And I was like, I don't even know if anybody's going to see this shit because I don't know. I was still recovering from being sick. It was super cold for like that whole week in Minnesota. It doesn't take a whole lot, but also I'm generally justified when I'm pissed off at Jacobs. I was kind of pissed off at Jacobs. And I'm like, let's just fucking do this live stream. I don't give a shit if anybody sees
Somebody
this.
replied to Dustin's tweet. Did you see that? And they said, let's go.
Yeah, I'm like, who is this person?
Oh,
they're not a porn bot.
They follow me too. They follow my account.
Well,
Dom. Shout out Dom.
During our live stream, I maybe also found that like all of our fans are just people that me and Jacob know personally. And we actually had no organic growth of new people. Well, beyond YouTube. I think YouTube.
Have you ever seen the header that the podcast has on Twitter?
Oh, I haven't seen that.
It says, it's somebody's comment from one of our videos. It says, I thought they were the actual movies, not an audio video about the movie. Very disappointing.
That's very good. Very good, Dustin. Which I will only tell Dustin here because maybe I'll see him tomorrow. But
that was funny.
That's very funny. Good work, Dustin. You do better work than I do. Certainly better than Jacob. I mean, that's no contest at all.
No argument there.
So with that,
AWM Pod, we might see you in like another month.
Yeah, you could maybe say at the end of all this that we have been a whole new pod.
Oh.
We're a whole new pod together. I fucking hate Jacob Telejohn.
It's pretty fucking rude.
Fuck you.
Da-da.
Hey, what's up? How's that party the other night?
It was alright, but there was this guy, and he's with his girlfriend, and he's trying to get her to do something that she didn't want to do.
So what'd you do about it?
I didn't do anything.
Whoa, what? Guys, don't be like my friend here who didn't do anything. Not doing anything is part of the problem.